Next, the most important concept is events and the event emitter. Right? So what are events and event emitter? Events and event emitter form the backbone of your Node.js. So there are many modules which use the events and event emitter concept, right? So to understand what is event and event emitter concept, we'll have to understand some basic keywords like object create and prototypal inheritance or prototype chain. So let's look at what they are now, right? So let's go back to our main JS. Let me clear it. Let's take a simple example where I can say user is equal to, and I say name, and like user can have a role, and user can also have a function. So I can say message, right? Function message. I can say console dot log off. Can say hi user, right? So this is the prototype of the user. Now any object can inherit this prototype and it can be part of the prototype chain. Now I have a user object here, right? This is the prototype for me. Let me see how I can create an object from this prototype. So what do I use? I use object dot create of user, and I say var dev user. Dev is equal to this, right? Let me log dev and see what it really has, right? So you can see that it has created a empty object. Now I can say dev dot name is equal to dev, and I can say dev dot author is equal to, sorry, dev dot role is equal to author, right? Now let me copy it and run it and see what it has to print now. Yeah, there you go. So there you have the name and the role properties inherited for Dave from the prototype. Now I can say Dave dot message, right? Let's see what happens now. There you go. Hi user Dave, right? So this is the object prototype, and this is how you inherit a prototype, and you call it as prototype chain. Now you can create any number of objects which can inherit this prototype chain. Now I can create var, I can say John. John is equal to object dot create of user. I can say John dot name is equal to John, and I can say John dot role equal to reviewer. Okay, I can say John dot message. Okay, let's see what it prints. There you go. Hi user Dave, hi user John. So all the methods and properties, or the functions and properties, have been inherited by the objects in the prototype chain, right? So this is one important concept when we learn about events and event emitter. So any object in node can inherit the event emitter property. So now what are event and event emitters? Before even we go to that, event same as callbacks, right? So you register for a callback. When the job is done, your callback gets called. So they are nothing much than a callback, right? So let's go ahead and try to you create an event emitter and see how it works. So this is a very basic example to demonstrate how an event emitter works. So there is a core module called events. I have taken it to a variable called emitter, and there is a core module which you've already seen called util, right? And this I have taken out a variable called util. So there is a function inherits on the util module, right? So as the name indicates, the first object inherits from the second object. So the wish object inherits from the emitter object. Sure, your emitter has functions like on, emit, etc. On event, emit event, etc. And that is inherited by your wish object. So wish has a method called function called wish, and it just assigns a message called hello. Now on and emit functions are available on the prototype chain for wish since it has inherited from emitter, right? So I can say wish dot on. Whenever the event hello happens, this is the function which has to be invoked, right? And I go ahead and emit the function hello here, right? So let's see what happens when I run this. There you go. So what happens? I have emitted the event hello, and on event hello, it invokes the callback method which is hello user, and it prints hello user here. So let us see how it actually works by debugging it, right? So you can see at the bottom, you can see a debug console here, right? And you can also see in the left hand menu, you can see a debug icon here, right? So you can click on that and it will open you certain tabs here. You can go ahead and place breakpoints wherever you wish to. So let us place some breakpoints at some points and see how our code behaves, right? So let me say debug, right? So it has started debug in its debug mode. So you can see the emitter object here, right? So this is the emitter object which you can see here, and it has a lot of variables defined here, right? Event emitters, and this is the prototype of it, right? And you can see emit function here, right, which I was talking about, and you can see on function here which I was talking about. So these are on the prototype chain of emitter. Now since wish inherits from emitter, these will be available for wish as well. So let us see what happens, right? So let's go back to the wish object now and see. So this is the wish, right? Let us go within wish and see, right? So this prototype is part of the prototype chain of, see, you can see here emit, prototype chain of emitter also emit, and you can also see on here, right? So your wish object has inherited from emitter also. So now let's see what happens. Let me step over, and now I'm going to emit the event hello. Once I emit the event hello, this is the listener for that event, and it says hello user. So this is how the event emitter works. So as you have seen the events and the event emitter working, there are two kinds of events which is there in Node. One is a system event and another one is a custom events. So system events are emitted by the libuv part of the C++ core, right? So libuv is responsible for managing your event loop, and these events are generated by your libuv C++ core, right? And the custom events are emitted by the JavaScript core of your node. Sometimes it can be also wrappers of your C++ core as well, right? And that brings us to the end of event emitter, and it also brings us to a start of very important concept called asynchronous programming.